Rita Cosby and Paul Berry live. We welcome you back to this great coverage from Washington, D.C. A lot of fun, isn't it?
A lot of fun. Very special day. And we also want to thank a lot of our great sponsors like Leidos, a leading national security, health, and infrastructure company, for being one of the great sponsors for providing lunch to the more than 1,000 active duty military personnel participating in today's parade. We've got a good crowd.
Yep.
And the parade continues as we remember the War of 1812.
After watching the Americans withstand the deadly British siege of Baltimore, Francis Scott Key was inspired to write the poem Defense of Fort McHenry. Today, it is better known as the Star-Spangled Banner.
We are honored to have with us the highest ranking officer in our military, the 19th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Joseph Dunford. General, thank you.
Well, thanks, Paul and Rita. Great to be here.
Such an honor to have you here. You know, people are watching at home, and as you know better than anybody, there are tens of thousands of active duty personnel literally around the world. What can the folks at home do, General, to support them?
You know, Rita, we're 15 years into the longest war in our nation's history, and really events like today that make sure that Memorial Day is about Memorial Day. It's about remembering the fallen, as opposed to the pool is open, the barbecues have started. This is one of the ways that sends a clear and unmistakable message to our young men and women in uniform that the folks back home recognize and appreciate their service.
We all have a responsibility to carry the load. And
we absolutely do. We absolutely do.
You commanded Marines in battle in Iraq and now hold our military's top position. Can you talk a little bit about the responsibility that you feel to our troops, General?
Yeah, I think all the senior leaders, and we've got most of the Joint Chiefs here today, the biggest responsibility we feel is to make sure that the young men and women that we send in harm's way have the training, have the support, have the equipment, and as you mentioned, have the support of the American people back home to do what needs to be done.
That makes a difference.
Sure
Absolutely.
Does. General, thank you so much for your service.
Much,
it's a real honor. You keep up the great work. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
All right, sir. Good to have you here, sir.
We're up in here.
Yes, thanks so much. Okay, absolutely.
And
what a pleasure.
Yeah, what an honor. Let's head back to Constitution Avenue for the next part of our parade.
The National Memorial Day Parade honors those who sacrificed in the Civil War. Brother fought brother in the bloodiest war in U.S. history, with more than 600,000 Americans, North and South, dying in battle.
With malice toward none, with charity for all, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds.
Now, those words were so eloquently spoken by Abraham Lincoln during his second inaugural address and demonstrate his devotion toward healing our shattered nation. Whitney Lester is appearing as President Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president. President Lincoln's appearance is made possible by News Channel 8 here in Washington, D.C.
Lincoln looks pretty good for his age.
He does. He does. Outstanding. Beautiful horse, too.
Yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful, and great crowds here, too. Again, all along Constitution Avenue, everyone. This is a full house, and it is perfect weather for a parade to honor our troops, their families, and those who are no longer with us, too.
I thought we were going to get a little rain, but it didn't happen. It's just turned out to be a glorious day, an absolutely beautiful day.
And the African American Civil War Memorial and Museum is proud to represent the first USCT regiment. The first USCT was established in May 1863 in Washington, D.C. during the Civil War and was comprised of mostly formerly enslaved men from the region.
And Civil War battles include New Market Heights, the defense of Fort Pocahontas, the siege of Fort Fisher by an amphibious assault, and the occupation of Wilmington, North Carolina.
And now let's head back to Streetside for former Miss America, Kirsten Haglund. Kirsten.
Thanks, Rita, so much. I am here with the Honorable Deborah Lee James. She's the Secretary of the Air Force, and General David Goldfein, Vice Chief of Staff of the United States Air Force. So, Deborah, just can you talk about the honor of leading the men and women of the United States Air Force?
Kirsten, it is an epic honor, and indeed, I call them the epic generation. We're also honoring the greatest generation, our World War II vets, but today's generation is epic. They are fantastic. They're the best we've ever had. Only 1% serve nowadays of the American public, and that is incumbent upon the 99% who doesn't, to honor and to remember and to always say thank you.
Absolutely. And General Goldfein, you're about to take over as Chief of Staff. Tell us what that is going to mean to you on this Memorial Day.
Yeah, thanks. Well, first of all, this pending confirmation, I'll be honored to take the reins of the Air Force, work with Secretary James. You know, for me, it's twofold. Number one, it truly is an honor to serve. And it's a reminder, like today, what an honor it is to put on this uniform every day. And second, as a senior leader, it's a reminder of the obligation that we have to take care of the greatest treasure in our nation's arsenal, which is the young men and women who sign up to serve. That's what today's all about.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much, American heroes. We appreciate your service. All right, back to you, Paul and Rita.
Thank you, Kirsten. From the western state of Arizona, marching into Juneau is the pride of the Nogales Marching Band.
Great job.
And for more than 160 years, the famous Stagecoach has represented Wells Fargo's dedication to serving their customers and the communities they serve. They do this so well. It is the living expression of who and what Wells Fargo is all about, working together, and a celebration of America's history of linking East and West. This company does so much to support our veterans.
It is a proud sponsor of the National Memorial Day Parade. And to learn more about Wells Fargo's support for our military and veterans, please visit wellsfargo.com/veterans. Wells Fargo, providing financial services to our country's military personnel since 1956.
The next float comes to you from USVA. They've been proudly serving our country's military personnel and veterans with affordable life insurance since 1959. Caring about their members is their #1 priority, as evidenced in their tagline, armed with compassion, dedication to service.
USVA is honoring all those soldiers and their families who made the ultimate sacrifice for their country with a special and very moving video message that can be found at usva.com/wealwaysremember.
And riding on the float there with the little iPhone you can see is the reigning American Idol, Trent Harmon, a native of East Mississippi. Just last month, Trent won the 15th and final season of American Idol. His new single, Falling, has been shooting up the Billboard Hot Country charts, and now singing Falling is Trent Harmon.
That's when I look at you, and right on cue, your body moves. It's like you're putting on a show. Yeah. Gotta get to me, your pretty little teeth. I just keep falling for you, baby. You just keep giving me one kiss at a time. Ain't nothing now that's gonna save me. Ooh, your sweet love keeps calling. I just keep falling. It's crazy, baby, what you do to me. There's magic in your kind of gravity, and any fool can see why I just keep falling for you, baby. You just keep killing me, one kiss at a time, and nothing now it's gonna save me. Ooh, your sweet love keeps calling. I just.
Wow, Trent Harmon of American
I
Idol.
just keep falling. If
Ooh,
I could
you
sing.
it's over. Otherwise, I would have put you in for next season. Thank you to Trent Harmon. Thank you to Paul Berry for the backup. And we're going to be back with a lot more of the parade right after this.
So my son's name is Montarius Trey Daniel. Very lively young man, very smart, very sharp, kind of like the class clown. He took a liking to the Army. He'd met some great buddies. He had a huge impact. Trey took his life June of 2015, 2 days before his 20th birthday, actually. It was probably the most difficult summer I've ever had. I am still amazed by the impact that he had. You know, he could have a funeral service in Camp Bahrain and 400 people were there. And his funeral service in Georgia, I didn't even get a program because there were so many people there that we gave out. I decided about a month ago just to celebrate his life. Freedom isn't free. Someone has to pay the price.
Coming up, the parade moves into the 20th century, and performances by country star John Michael Montgomery and Miss America 2016.
And welcome back. I'm Rita Cosby, along with Paul Berry, my co-host, and we want to make sure that we thank the American Veterans Center for organizing today's glorious parade. While most people may expect that such a huge event can only be pulled off by the military or the government, in reality, the parade is made possible through the very hard work of a small, private, non-profit foundation.
I love a parade, and they've done a great job.
They have. It's been fabulous.
To learn more, visit AmericanVeteransCenter.org. With us coming up as one of country music's most successful artists. I've been watching him set the stage for the last 25 years. Over the years, he's charted 15 #1 hits, including 2 Billboard Country Songs of the Year. Go ahead. I know you want to go.
Yeah, actually, I love this guy. One of them is Singing Letters from Home, and I was talking to him. He's a good guy, too. Please welcome John Michael Montgomery.
I hope this letter catches up with you and finds you well. It's been dry, but they're calling for rain, and everything's the same old same in Johnsonville. Your stubborn old daddy ain't said too much, but I'm sure you know he sends his love. And she goes on in a letter from home. I hold it up and show my buddies like we ain't scared and our boots ain't buddy, and they all laugh like there's something funny about the way I talk when I say mama sends her best y'all. I fold it up and put it in my shirt, pick up my gun and get back to work. And it keeps me driving home, waiting on letters from home.
Wow, what a beautiful song. Thank you to John Michael Montgomery, big supporter of the troops. The parade now honors the fallen of the Spanish-American War. Theodore Roosevelt served as Secretary of the Navy prior to leading the first U.S. volunteer cavalry regiment known as the Rough Riders. He was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor in 2001, the only U.S. president to actually receive that award.
Wow, and this is the 5th year author Tennyson Thompson has portrayed him. He joins us today thanks to the generous support of Booz Allen Hamilton.
The first U.S. Volunteer Cavalry Regiment, Rough Riders, was formed in 1978 to provide a living memorial to Theodore Roosevelt and his gallant volunteer regiment. The 1,200 original Rough Riders camped in Tampa prior to leaving for the campaign in Cuba during the Spanish-American War. A bit of history there.
And the group lives to get up and become personally involved with the community where they live and where they work.
It's the centennial of the National Park Service, 100 years of caring for America's most treasured places and honoring those who have served and those who have fallen on behalf of our nation.
Here are our hardworking National Mall and Memorial Park staff, all of whom have proudly served in America's Armed Forces or are currently serving in the Guard and Reserves. And here's a message from Superintendent Gay Vitsky.
Welcome to the National Mall and Memorial Parks. Our brand new float celebrates the National Park Service Centennial and the many cultural and historical sites here in Washington, D.C. The float features the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and the African American Civil War Memorial. The National Park Service extends its thanks to all National Park Service staff, partners, and volunteers who have served. And we'd like to recognize those members and former members of the Armed Forces who now help care for America's most special places.
Black troops led by white officers, the Buffalo Soldiers, served in the harshest of conditions. When the Plains Indians saw the black troopers in their great coats, the Cheyenne Indians called them wild buffaloes. The Comanches called them crazy buffaloes. They served with distinction, displaying valor in every theater, earning 14 medals of Honor during the Indian Wars.
They were great fighters. The Buffalo Soldiers were awarded 4 Medals of Honor during the Spanish-American War and the famous Charge of San Juan Hill with Teddy Roosevelt.
Introducing the new American Freedom Train Show Float. With the float today is co-author of the children's book, The 1947 Freedom Train, Kathy Maggard, along with educational partners from the National Infantry Museum in Columbus, Georgia.
A moving and inspiring, one-of-a-kind musical and a multimedia experience, the new American Freedom Train Show celebrates the foundations that made America great: faith, family, military, and work ethic.
Riding on the float is Nashville recording artist and U.S. Army veteran Tim Maggard and a team of talented musicians. They're now going to perform the world debut of their new single, American Blueprint.
Stood against an iron hand. A band of rebel hearts took a shot in the dark. It took what they gave to get us this far.
By the way, part of this is available for download on iTunes today, and a portion of the proceeds of every download will go to support the National Memorial Day Parade. So how wonderful giving back to this great event.
Chase a red, white American blueprint, part of a sacred land, a bigger plan, a red, white American, blood, sweat, and faith, dreams anyone can chase, a red, white American blueprint. Oh yeah, it's our American blueprint.
The National Moment of Remembrance, established by Congress, asks all Americans, wherever they are, at this time to pause in an act of national unity.
And right now, the National Memorial Day Parade will participate in that moment, coming to a complete stop while taps will be played in honor of all of those who have sacrificed their lives. Wherever you are, we ask that you please join us for this moment.
blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace hath brought me safe thus far, and the grace will lead me home. And grace will lead me home.
How beautiful. Taps was played by U.S. Navy musician First Class Josh Armstrong from the Military District of Washington.
That was absolutely beautiful. And singing Amazing Grace, that beautiful rendition, was Master Sergeant Antonio Giuliano from the United States Army Chorus. How moving.
Very special.
And we're going to be back with more parade coverage. But before we go, we want to present a special message from great patriot and veteran supporter Robert Augustinelli, chairman of the Friends of the National Memorial Day Parade.
My fellow citizens, on this day, we are humbled to honor all those who have served the Republic in the defense of freedom. From Valley Forge, Iraq, and Afghanistan, our valiant troops have stood tall. Throughout the world and foreign lands, joined by our allies, we have time and again defeated tyranny and evil in the field. The United States is indeed an exceptional nation, and our military, the purest and bravest of us all. President Kennedy once said, "A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers." Today we honor and remember the best this nation has ever produced, our heroes who have sacrificed all to defend freedom. God bless them all, and thank you.
Next up, live from Washington, D.C., Miss America performs, and the parade salutes America's greatest generation.
And welcome back to coverage of the American Veterans Center National Memorial Day Parade. This is Rita Cosby along with Paul Berry. Events DC is the face of conventions, entertainment, sports, and cultural events within our nation's capital. Enriching DC's entertainment scene is a top priority for Events DC as they remain committed to promoting our city's talented artists, signature festivals, and lots of iconic venues to bring the best support of the district's rich creative community. And for more information, you can go to eventsdc.com.
The National Memorial Day Parade honors those who served in the Great War, World War I.
More than 116,000 Americans died in service during the First World War, in what all hoped would be the war to end all wars. However, lingering resentments led to the rise of Nazi Germany and eventually World War II.
Hi guys, I'm here with retired Army Staff Sergeant Shiloh Harris. He was burned in over 40% of his body when a 700-pound explosive took out his Humvee, killing the 3 other passengers. But he is here with us today. Thank you so much, Sergeant, for being here. We so appreciate you and your service to this country. And we hear you've been working with an organization, Helping a Hero, and you have a home specially built by them. Tell us a little bit about what this home does in your everyday life.
Well, Helping a Hero came in a couple of years after my injuries, and I mean, I think I want to say that it just came in at the right, perfect time, you know, to help me integrate back into my children's lives, and you know, because I have a hard time dealing with the heat, with the scar tissues and stuff. The house that they built for me has a back porch that's really nice and covered and got misters to help keep me cool during the summer and allow me to spend time with my children, you know, because that was always our biggest thing, was not being able to do stuff because of the heat. And being in Texas, you can imagine. But it's a beautiful day today. I'm absolutely proud to be here and representing Helping a Hero.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. We so appreciate your service.
I'm proud to be here.
Back to you, Paul and Rita.
And thank you, Kirsten. From the state of Michigan, here comes the Southfield High School Marching Blue Jays. Got you.
And the next float comes to us from the Lions Clubs of Washington, D.C., Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. Lions Clubs International operates in over 200 countries or geographic areas around the world. Its 1.4 million members in over 46,000 clubs comprise the largest service club organization.
And I've got my eye on this one because also riding on the float is our current Miss America, Betty Cantrell. As is tradition in the parade, Miss America will now perform God Bless America.
Stand beside her and
The National Memorial Day Parade honors those who served in World War II. 16 million Americans served and more than 400,000 died, making it truly the defining moment of the 20th century.
All right, I'm here with General Frank Grass from the National Guard and Admiral Chuck Michel from the Coast Guard. So General Grass, the National Coast Guard traces its history all the way back to 1636 and the first militia units in Massachusetts. Tell us about the Guard's mission today.
Well, we have three missions today. One is to provide combat capability to the Army and Air Force when called into federal service. Every day we have men and women also supporting the governors in disasters at home. And we also provide partnerships both with the community and also international partnerships.
All right, and Admiral Chuck Michel, you just celebrated the 225th birthday of the Coast Guard, so tell us more about your proud tradition.
Founded in 1790 by Alexander Hamilton, the Coast Guard is the nation's longest continuously operating seagoing service. We served in all the nation's wars and we continue to defend Americans today.
Wow, that's incredible. I bet a lot of people didn't know that the Coast Guard was founded by Alexander Hamilton. Thank you both so much. All right, back to you, Paul and Rita.
And thank you, Kirsten, so much. We are honored to welcome representatives from one of the legendary groups of World War II, the Flying Tigers. And joining us today are Wayne Johnson, Don Juilliard, and General Patrick Chen, veterans of the Flying Tigers.
Before the United States entered World War II, a daring group of volunteer American pilots went to Asia to defend China. They were commanded by Claire Chennault, a retired U.S. officer who was overseeing the training of the new Chinese Air Force. The American unit, known as the Flying Tigers, was responsible for the first U.S. victory of the war when it defeated a Japanese attack 12 days after Pearl Harbor. The Flying Tigers proved so successful, they were eventually folded back into the U.S. military, becoming the 14th Air Force under the command of General Chennault. The Flying Tigers were the cornerstone of American operations in the China-Burma-India theater of World War II and were instrumental in building the long partnership between the United States and the Republic of China.
And established in 1982, the ROC Veteran Association of Greater Washington is one of the biggest Chinese community organizations in the Washington area.
Well, today, U-Haul continues to support wonderful support of our veterans and troops by showcasing the 5 branches of our armed services on the side of the U-Haul trucks: Navy, Air Force, Army, Marines, and Coast Guard. U-Haul is committed to serving our veterans by giving them priority in their hiring process.
And U-Haul is once again honored to be a sponsor of the parade and to be able to remind the public about the true meaning of Memorial Day, to honor and remember all of the men and women who have given so selflessly for our freedom and to honor the families they left behind. Always love seeing those trucks. They are here year upon year. They are such huge supporters. It's beautiful to see.
It is. It's a great sponsor of this event.
Keep the Spirit of 45 is promoting awareness in the 75th anniversary of important World War II events that will be taking place beginning with the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Indeed, the float features the image of the famous Times Square kiss, symbolizing August 14th,
there it is.
1945.
Woo!
The day the news that the war had ended. The float is provided by U-Haul International. Escorting the float are members of the American Legion Riders, led by Dr. E. Bruce Heilman, World War II veteran and the Chancellor of the University of Richmond.
It's a lot of kissing getting in there.
Oh, yeah. Next up are youth volunteers carrying photos of the Americans who died in the attack on Pearl Harbor and others who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country during World War II, including the 81 members of the legendary Tuskegee Airmen who were killed in action during the war. Youth leaders come from as far away as the states of Oregon and California.
And we'll be back with more of our parade coverage right after this.
Coming up live, we honor the fallen of the Korean and Vietnam Wars. And musical guests Phil Vassar and Tony Orlando join the parade.
Well, I was 10, I was thin, and I was playing first base with a second-hand glove and dirt on my face. In nowhere, Virginia, who'd ever figure that kid in the yard would go very far? 'Cause 419 Lakewood had no silver spoons, just an old beat-up upright that played out of tune. And now I'm singing and living the life that I love. And when I count my blessings, I thank God I was an American child, an American child. 'Cause dreams can grow wild, born inside an American child. My grandfather would have been 80 today, but in 45 he fell down beside an American child, an American child, an American child. 'Cause dreams can grow wild, born inside an American child, an American child. Whoa.
So appropriate. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, thank you to Phil Vassar for that performance. We would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of the parade: the nation of the state of Kuwait, Military Order of the Purple Heart, the Gary Sinise Foundation, and Wells Fargo.
And lots more: USVA, the Uniformed Services Benefit Association, the Lions Club, International National Rifle Association, and also Lidos. And now let's continue with more of the parade.
More than 36,000 Americans died during service in the Korean War, often called the Forgotten War. Today, veterans refer to Korea as the Forgotten Victory, with the economic success of South Korea.
Leading our tribute to the Korean War generation are veterans of the Korean War riding in military vehicles of the era. They are members of the Korean War Veterans Association, which has more than 14,000 members and 330 chapters nationwide.
And the Korean War began 66 years ago when North Korean forces invaded the South. Fighting continued for more than 3 years. U.S. troops in Korea displayed countless acts of valor, and to date, 146 Americans who served in Korea have been awarded the Medal of Honor. The Korean-American models that you see there in full regalia dress are from the greater Washington, D.C. area. They are marching today to show their everlasting gratitude to the Korean War veterans of the United States for saving their country from the onslaught of communist aggression.
Now, they finally refer to the Korean War veterans as their grandpas. From the state of Wisconsin comes the Appleton East Patriots, their band and dance team.
I am drum major Shannon Waldo.
And I am band president Robert Kirsten.
I am proud to say, upon graduation, I will be going into the Air National Guard.
And I am also proud to say that I will be joining the United States Air Force.
This great parade today is very meaningful to each of us as we prepare for a journey to where we can now become a part of history as we plan to serve our nation.
We plan to wear our military uniforms with pride, honor, and dignity.
As we continue the National Memorial Day Parade pays tribute to those who served in Vietnam.
Please welcome the Honorary Marshal representing the heroes of Vietnam, Brigadier General R. Steve Ritchie. General Ritchie is the only Air Force ace pilot of the Vietnam War, shooting down 5 enemy jets. He is the recipient of numerous awards, including the Air Force Cross, second only to the Medal of Honor.
Snowball Express is dedicated to serving the children of our fallen military heroes who have made the ultimate sacrifice since 9/11. Snowball Express remembers those fallen heroes who will never return and honors the supreme sacrifice their families made. We want to recognize and thank American Airlines for their tremendous support and partnership.
And with the float are several of the Gold Star children and families in American Airlines volunteers. Singing as the legendary entertainer and philanthropist Tony Orlando, who's been a huge advocate of our veterans and military families, along with Tomaszek Bednarek. He's especially known for supporting our Vietnam veterans over 40 years.
Land of promise, the home of liberty. From the cornfields in the valleys to the towers in the skies, America is my hometown. Whoa, America is my hometown. Yes, America is my hometown.
Thank you to Tony Orlando and also Tomaszek Bednarek there. He was singing America is My Hometown. Tony wrote that song with part of the proceeds going to Snowball Express, a great cause. And from the state of Missouri, next up is the Potosi Trojan Marching Band.
All right, let's head back now to Constitution Avenue and Kirsten. Kirsten.
Thanks, Paul. I'm honored to be standing here with the legendary Tony Orlando, who's been a huge advocate for our veterans. Tony, you've been very supportive of our Vietnam vets, but tell us why you're so passionate about Snowball Express and these kids.
The children you see on this float are the children of our fallen heroes. And I think it's important that this organization, now in its first years, bloom into a place in which we can take care of the children of our fallen, because they're going to need our assistance. They're going to need our scholarships, and that's what we plan to do here with our Snowball Express. I'm honored to be the spokesman for them and American Airlines. I want to thank them for it, and thank you, Kirsten.
Of course, thank you so much. We really, truly appreciate you and everything you're doing. All right, we'll be back with more live parade coverage of the National Memorial Day Parade right after this. Yeah, thank you for everything.
Coming up live from Washington, D.C., a very special salute to the heroes of the Gulf War as we mark the 25th anniversary.
ask me where I come from, here's what I tell everyone. I was born by God's dear grace in an extraordinary place where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly. There's a lady that stands in the harbor for what we believe. And there's a bell that still echoes the price that it costs to be free.
Well, it ain't the only place on earth.
Ain't the only place,
but it's the only place that I prefer.
place that I prefer.
Well, if you got pride and you're proud, you do.
Yeah, we could use some more like me and you. Where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly. Where the stars and stripes and the eagle fly.
And welcome back to Washington, D.C. Thank you to the USO show troupe. They were
Very
awesome.
good. Yeah.
The National Memorial Day Parade salutes those who have served in the Gulf War, Operation Desert Storm.
The Gulf War, known as Operation Desert Storm, brought together the largest coalition of countries since World War II. It proved the most decisive victory in modern warfare.
This very special float commemorates the 25th anniversary of the Gulf War and victory in Operation Desert Storm. It is brought to us by the nation of the state of Kuwait. Joining the float are representatives of Kuwait appearing to express their appreciation for the Americans who served in the Gulf War.
And on behalf of the people of Kuwait, we have the following message from the ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Salam Al-Sabah.
I'm honored to be with you today on this very important 25th anniversary of the liberation of my country, the state of Kuwait. And I'm here to tell you that the people of Kuwait and the government of Kuwait will never forget what the U.S. Armed Forces and the U.S. people did for us 25 years ago when you gave us back our liberty and our sovereignty. And for folks like myself that lived through that episode and remember the brutality that my government went through, we will carry the gratitude to the U.S. in our hearts forever. Thank you very much from the people and the government of the state of Kuwait.
And it is the 25th anniversary of the Gulf War and the 25th anniversary, almost to the week, of the National Victory Celebration Parade, which took place on June 8, 1991 along Constitution Avenue. It was virtually the same parade route as of today.
And for the first time since we are honored to welcome hundreds of Gulf War veterans to Constitution Avenue as they return to Washington in the largest reunion since that parade 25 years ago. Rita. Okay, Kirsten is down on the parade route. Let's go down to her now.
Hi, thanks, Paul. All right, I am here. I'm a very lucky girl with two of the top commanders on the ground in Operation Desert Storm, Army General Fred Franks, as well as Marine General Walt Boomer. So, General Franks, we're going to start with you. What does this day mean to you as someone who participated in Operation Desert Storm? What's Memorial Day all about for you?
It's especially moving and inspiring to be here today on this Memorial Day, this sacred day in America, where we honor those from all of our wars who have died in service to our nation, and especially this 25th anniversary of Desert Storm with 900 families over here on the steps of the archives and 500 fellow veterans marching here. I feel very privileged to have commanded 7th Corps and today to remember the 111 men and women, American and British, who died in this service and their families.
Yeah, it's incredible. Thank you so much. And General Boomer, what is the legacy of the Gulf War?
I think it's this. It proved to us that we're in the military, that these young men and women, and we knew this all along, were just fantastic. They were brave, they were courageous, they fought with ferocity and skill and honor and integrity and liberated Kuwait in 3 days. What more could we ask of them?
Absolutely. You both are American heroes. Thank you so much. We'll be back with more live parade coverage right after this.
Coming up live, the parade's grand finale. Hundreds of uniformed troops in tribute to those who have sacrificed on the front lines today.
And welcome back now. We're very pleased to be here, obviously. Rita, Paul, our next float is sponsored by HelpingAHero.org. They build specially adapted homes for our most severely wounded warriors, wheelchair-bound veterans and amputees when they need wider doors, roll-in showers, and other accessibility items in order to perform daily tasks as independently as possible.
The Massachusetts Maritime Academy Regimental Band and Honor Guard is comprised of cadets from the Band, Honor Guard, and Precision Drill Team. The company promotes the Academy's mission, showcasing leadership, discipline, and knowledge through music, drill, and ceremony at public and Academy events.
And now for the parade's grand finale, led by active duty service personnel from the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and Army Reserves, not to mention the Naval Reserves and the Army National Guard.
Cannot forget them. And we're especially proud and honored to welcome home many of these troops who have just recently returned from deployment overseas.
God bless them.
God bless them. Everybody stay with us. We are going to be right back with the big finale.
We'll be right back, folks. Stay with us. Rita, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. And
thank you.
We'd like to thank all of you for watching today. We would like to thank all of our veterans, all of those who participated, the parade marchers and volunteers, everyone associated with this.
It was really a fabulous day, and a special thank you to the American Veterans Center and all of our sponsors. Kirsten.
It's been an incredible day with so many inspirational stories. I've been honored to be here. Back to you.
You've done a great job out there. And to those of you serving in harm's way, wherever you may be, stay safe. Thank you. Know that we care and love you.
And we'll see you here back next year on Constitution Avenue. To our military.